Once we've all completed that process and have a basic background in the procedures and in some of the tools of business GIS analysis, we move on to a different set of chapters. And you can see that the next 1, 2, 3, 4 chapters are structured in a slightly different way. Each team has responsibility across these 4 chapters. Each team has responsibility for preparing a summary of one of these chapters, but also of preparing a formal report. The summary is exactly the same summary the process that we just completed for chapter 3. And so if your responsibility as a team is to complete that summary report, that's what you do. If, on the other hand, your responsibility is to complete the more formal report, so that for Chapter 4, the Myers Home Furnishing case, the Bluebirds team is responsible for completing that report, the first thing you do is complete the summary report that you just talked about, but then you write up a larger, more lengthy, more formal report that uses this format. This then is the sheet that provides you with the format for your written report that is more extensive than the summary report that you did in Chapter 3. And notice as you go through this that the purpose of this format is to prepare a proper document for a consulting project, for example, or for a marketing research report within an organization where you are reporting on your business GIS research to a manager who has decision-making responsibility in this area. It's a little bit more elaborate. It describes the procedure a little bit more, and it does a better job of placing the results in the context of an overall approach to the problem that you've been assigned to solve. This is very much like the research report that you might do in your marketing research class as well, at least in terms of its format. And you'll be working on this with 1 to 2 other students as you complete that project. So what that means then is that for one of the projects in this area of the class, chapters 4, 5, 6, and 7, you will have one summary report to do that will not be graded, and one formal report to turn in that will be graded. The summary report will be posted to the discussion board so that everyone in the class can have some idea about what's going on. You are responsible for completing each one of the tasks, each one of the chapters, but you are not responsible for writing those up. The last report that you do, and then that one then is this second report, the 75-point team-based report that you do from chapters 4 through 7. Your final task is a 100-point business GIS research project in which you use exactly the same procedures and exactly the same format that you did in the second problem or second project to identify some of the most basic and solve some of the most basic problems that are addressed with business GIS tools, that is site selection and territory design and routing. The Doves and the Bluebirds will work on the Better Books case, which is site selection. The Robins and Cardinals will work on the Northwest Best case, which is territory design and routing. Here you complete the summary report as well, although you don't post those, but then you do the formal written report and you turn that in to me. So at this point now you have the opportunity to have done 2 previous reports on these projects to give you an idea of how the format works, how the software works. So these then are kind of the capstone projects for the semester. Now these projects taken together are worth about half your grade. Just by way of review, the consumer GIS exercises and projects will be covered primarily by examination purposes. You have a 25-point outdoor living exercise on Chapter 3 that is simply a summary report. You have a larger, more formal business GIS report following the format that's listed here for either chapters 4, 5, 6, or 7, depending on your team, and a second longer formal report for either Chapter 8 or Chapter 9. Taken together, those reports represent 200 points of your grade, or roughly half of your semester grade. This concludes the summary of the exercise and project component of the course.